it's amazing that a tour player can see that data that quick at a tournament. So we can be in the middle of a practice round on the golf course, and we can be going through all the numbers on their swing and see what they do on the golf course versus on the range. So it's a great tool for me to use because it's a minute, it just takes me a minute to show it to them, and they get to see exactly real time what's going on. I got lucky enough to be able to test this with Jason Kokrak, and we were on the 18th hole at Eastlake, and he had been struggling with drivers for a few weeks, and I got to show him instantly what his golf swing was doing with the driver, and I got to put on every number and show him every number on the golf course at Eastlake and use it.
The Sportsbox app has changed the way I teach because it allows me to show the student the swing that he's made in 3D immediately. By doing that, it gives him the exact numbers of everything that he's doing from above, below, down the line, face on, and behind. This has been an invaluable way to teach my students and for them to see immediately what they're doing in their golf swing. One student had his right hip high and his right leg straight, which made him tilt his upper body too much to the right. So he had his shoulders tilted to 14 degrees at setup, and his right hip was high, so the side bend on his hips were +4. What we did is I showed him that from behind, brought his hips back down so he had less tilt or side bend to his hips, so he brought it down to a +1. Then his shoulders leveled out a little bit more.
It's really pretty incredible to me now that I can take one slow motion video of a client on the golf course in my studio. They can send it to me from literally anywhere in the world, and I can convert it into accurate 3D measurements so that I can give them proper guidance and coaching. I would say the client who I'm most proud of or that surprised me the most was a gentleman named Lee. He started with me remotely and then ended up coming to the studio here about 3 weeks later. And because he was a pretty beginner golfer and golf was his kind of project during COVID, he was able to get started much faster. His chest was open, more than 20 degrees open to the targeted address, so were his hips. And so I was able to give him very specific information about what his setup should feel like. He had his chest in front of his pelvis at address. So, he really had no chance. And as a result, he was able to start seeing progress very quickly. I think it just resulted in him trusting my coaching more.
AI. It has been an absolute game changer for me in my golf tuition. We're finding the root cause of the problem so much faster now using Sportsbox AI. It's a lovely teaching tool to be able to use and show your clients whilst teaching. What he did was he came in very steep, which pulled his body back. He was topping shots and slicing shots all day long before he came for his first golf lesson. When I got him on Sportsbox AI, we showed him exactly what his body was doing. We compared that to one of the best guys and girls in the world with what they are doing in their own golf swing. And we saw that they were, with the pelvis tracker with Sportsbox AI, they were twisting much more as he was lifting with his own pelvis. So once we started to get him to rotate better and twist better using the pelvis tracker, we showed him the comparison and the shots just went so much straighter.
Using Sportsbox definitely helps me with my teaching. And more importantly, it helps my students learn more efficiently and more quickly. It makes the diagnostic part of the lesson much more accurate and more quick. And compared to other 3D devices, it's much more easy to use. With one student, we use the chest and pelvis swing and lift tracker to better time those moving parts during a swing. By doing so, he improved his iron play drastically, and on his driver swing he was able to add 7 miles per hour to his already impressive 120.
Having that ability to be able to measure a golf swing in different situations, either under pressure or in practice, is allowing me as a coach to better understand what that player does, and as a result improve them more. As an example of something that I feel has been really beneficial, I had one lad who was playing at a tour event and he was struggling on the golf course on the Monday, the practice day, with certain shots. And what we were able to do was video him on that practice area or on that course on that day. When we videoed him, we were able to see that in this instance, he was not rotating as much as normal. So he had a little bit more sway instead of the turn. Now, that was purely because his mind and what he was thinking about was trying to move pressure to the right, and he was doing it in the wrong way. By using Sportsbox, I've enabled me as a coach to be able to show him data that proved what he was actually doing on the golf course. And as a result, he had a really good week that